Ding, ding. Ah, the Chemex, the V60 for multiple people. That's basically what it is. We're gonna find out how to brew Chemex like an expert. Do about 42 grams of coffee with the Chemex, 660 total grams of coffee. You're gonna do about 80 grams for a 30-second bloom, and then slow pour up to 660 and let it finish off, and then drink your coffee. Let's get into it. First thing we're gonna be doing is obviously measuring out our coffee. Now the biggest part into making good coffee is starting with good coffee. So I drink Two Rivers coffee. This is what I drink on the daily. This is the best coffee that... Nimbus? Are you in the way? I don't think so. Whatever, just don't do anything dumb, okay? Two Rivers Coffee, they're actually sponsoring this video. What does that mean? Nothing really. Basically, they're offering you guys a discount code. This is what I highly recommend getting. I'll leave that to you guys. Discount code will be in the description. So, we're going to be measuring out 42 grams of this delicious beverage. So we're going to go up to 42 grams for this. So now the Chemex is kind of made for bigger groups. You can, do a pot of coffee. I kind of think of it like a house brewer as opposed to a Keurig, right? So you have AeroPress, which is kind of like a single batch brew. And then you have Chemex, which is like making a pot of coffee. So with this recipe, we're going to kind of really push the Chemex to its full potential and make a full pot of coffee. So grind the 42 grams of coffee. Okay, this is all good. So next step, we're going to go ahead and grab our Chemex here and find your filters. There goes Nimbus. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this filter in here. Now, if this filter kind of has some like king hat things, I don't know what's going on. If you pour with your right hand, just make sure you have this, front and back. That way you're not trying to pour over this. It's really annoying. So we're gonna set that in there, and then we're gonna put some hot water down through it. This kind of get rid of the paper taste. This is just a common practice when you're brewing coffee, to make sure we don't get that in our coffee, that flavor. Paper doesn't taste that good. So, we're gonna let that pour out. Also heat the vessel, which is good. And now we're ready to go. So, tare your scale, go ahead and throw those 42 grams of coffee into the Chemex, and then make sure that you even it out so that it's not have any, that it doesn't have any like bumps and stuff like that in it. Next, what we're gonna do is grab our coffee, get ready to start your timer. And we're gonna go for about 84 grams, which is double our, 84 grams? Yeah, 84 grams, which is double our amount of coffee for the bloom process. Since we're doing a larger amount, we're also gonna bloom a little bit longer. So I'm gonna get this process going, go straight to 84 grams or until the grounds are saturated well enough. And once we hit that point, then we are going to just chill, let that bloom for about 30 seconds. Watch all of the bubbles happen. I like the blooming process because you can kind of get the aroma of it like in a very potent state, so you kind of see where you're headed with it. After that, we're gonna go ahead and slow pour all the way up to 660. Now with the Chemex, you are making a lot of coffee, so this is gonna be a little bit longer than most of the methods that you're doing. So be prepared for a long brewing time. If you pour too fast, you're gonna reach the top and have to slow down and let it desaturate. The point of our saturation process is to make sure that we keep this whole thing the same temperature. So you wanna have a consistent pour. Like I always say, you're pouring into the top at the same rate that the coffee's coming out the bottom if you have the correct grind. Otherwise, you're gonna need to make some adjustments. So here, we're just gonna continue to fill this whole process up here. Keep the coffee rolling. Think about all the things you have to do today after you drink this coffee. 660 grams of water. All right, 660. Now from here, what I like to do is give the coffee just a couple quick stirs in a counterclockwise direction. It doesn't have to be counterclockwise, that's just what I do. And I find that when I do that, it spins the grounds and they come down evenly instead of sticking to the sides and making that cone shape. So I'll just give it a couple stirs at the top. That's literally it. Leave it there, and that gives me a more even extraction process, but you can work with your end. It's going to depend on the coffee you're using, the grind you're using, the temperature you're using, and find out what's going to give you the most even extraction on your coffee. From here, you're just going to kind of wait it out. You're going to want this brew to finish right at about 4 minutes and 30 seconds for this process. And if it's not finishing at that time, then you're going to want to go ahead and slowly make adjustments to the grind of your coffee so that you get a more even extraction throughout all of that. As this is coming down, I can see there's not like a thick layer of the grounds along the walls. It's because of that stir at the top It's going to make it all come down really, really evenly. Again, with this process, what we're going to do is take it off before the water's totally gone. That end of the coffee is almost similar to the end of the coffee pot. We don't want that. We want a really clean, sediment-free brew down here at the bottom, which is another reason that we're using paper filters and not metal filters for this. Perfect. When you take the Chemex filter out, it's still going to be brewing a little bit. That's totally fine. Leave it to do its thing. And bonus tip about the Chemex. This will impress all of your friends. What you can actually do when pouring is pour a little bit out the side of your Chemex, and you can do 2 cups at once, which is like so cool. But I have no one to drink the second cup with, and sometimes it's not even. It's kind of hard. It works a lot better if you have one of the wood ones, but we took the wood off of ours because I don't know actually. So yeah, that's a secret tip. Double pour. It is so fancy. This is made to be shared with your friends, unless you're, I don't know, unless you have problems. You're gonna drink that much coffee, which is crazy. Check this out. This looks so cool. Man, I love doing this. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Let's taste it. Let's see what. Great, fantastic, Two Rivers, killing it every friggin' time. I love it. It is the best way to start your day. If you guys have any questions or videos you'd like me to do on the coffee, right now I'm going through all of the methods that we have here. We've already done 3, this makes the 3rd. Next is going to be French press. But I've also thought about doing a couple videos on the tasting process, what you're looking for, understanding the basics of it. So if that's something you guys are interested in, go ahead and leave a comment below, send me a DM on Instagram, which will be linked below, send me an email, any of that kind of stuff. I do read those, even though I'm not able to respond to all of them. I am talking fast because I have had a lot of caffeine this morning. These videos are hard to make, okay? I have to have a lot of caffeine so I have the energy to continue.